Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Real Big Ten football talk, but it's a bowl special with me. This is Chris. This is a special time of the year, as we all know. It is the bowl season. Plenty of non-conference interesting matchups we have to go over. And my original plan was to do every single bowl game. That is, of course, not possible at this point, as you already know. Possibly, I have missed 7 of the bowl games, unfortunately for me. My schedule is a little bit difficult work-wise, but without further ado, let's get started with our first video. But before we get started, I would like to mention that I have picked all of the bowl games already on ESPN.com, the Bowl Mania, and as a special bonus, I've also included my mother's picks because she enjoys this kind of thing. She is not a big football fan, but I do like to get someone else's point of view on some of these things, so I'll have her picks at the end and I'll have mine as well. If you'd like to see both of our picks, please check out the links in the description below. I will, of course, include them at the conclusion of this video. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we, with the Cheribundi Boca Raton Bowl. I apologize if I mispronounced that company's name. This is the San Diego State Aztecs, 7-5, and the Ohio Bobcats at 8-4. A Bobcat versus an Aztec. Quite interesting. Don't know who would win that one. Guess it depends on how strong the Aztec warrior is and how big and ferocious the Bobcat is. Let's look at the tail of the tape. Who have these two teams played? These two teams have done kind of, let's say, subpar, so to speak, in the non-conference. San Diego State did, of course, beat Arizona State earlier in the year, which I was kind of surprised. After Arizona beat Michigan State in that epic clash in Week 2, I figured Arizona State would at least win that game. I didn't think they'd crush San Diego State, but I figured they'd win. So San Diego State did win that game, a good one for them. Ohio, not really a big, high-profile non-conference schedule. Almost beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati, but did lose to the Cavaliers in Virginia, 45-31. But San Diego State has also had a relatively weak showing in their own conference, with their biggest win, and a big win at that, beating the Boise State Broncos on the Smurf turf 19-13. I think Ohio's definitely their biggest win was 2 or 3 weeks ago against Buffalo, crushing the Bulls 52-17. So Ohio did end the year on a high note, winning 2 in a row, but San Diego State did end the year losing 3 in a row, including a bad loss to UNLV in San Diego, a bad loss for the Aztecs. So, with that being said, yeah, San Diego State, you can think, well, San Diego State, they've been quite resilient, quite relevant, pretty good team out of the Mountain West for the last few years. Ohio, up and down, honestly, the MAC team. Going into it, you may think, hey, the Aztecs will crush the Bobcats, no questions asked. This year, I'm not so sure, so we'll keep going, delving into the stats a little bit further. But let's first look at where San Diego State ranked in the Mountain West. Not really a bottom feeder, kind of run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-pack type of team at 4-4 in their conference, 7-5 overall. Looking at Ohio, a little bit better in conference. It's 6-2 conference play, 8-4 overall, so a 2-2 record outside the conference. Both teams not great, but not bad. They did get to a bowl game, and an interesting one at that. Looking at the offense, quite contrasting. In fact, San Diego State has no offense compared to Ohio, it seems. Whereas San Diego State is 354 total yards this year on average, 108th in the country, 34.5% on third down to the 110th, and a -3 turnover margin. That spells trouble, I think, in this particular game, and that is 86th overall in turnover margin. For Ohio, quite dominant on the offensive side of the ball, 470.6 yards per game at 17th nationally. Third downs, 48.3%. That is 9th nationally. Quite impressive. But the most impressive, in my opinion, is the turnover margin at plus 13. That tells me you hold onto the ball and you do a good job of taking it away. Both impressive feats for Ohio, and that is 5th nationally in turnover margin. Looking at the passing offensive splits, at least San Diego State is a little bit more respectful in this regard. For the completion percentage, San Diego State only 53.8%. That is 109th nationally. Passing per game is a push for both teams. That's why it's orange font. For San Diego State, 191.6 yards per game. That is 98th nationally. And for Ohio, 208.4 yards per game. That is 88th nationally. Both not great. Neither team likes to throw the ball very much. But Ohio is more efficient at it at 60.6% completion percentage, 54th nationally. But Ohio doesn't really air it down the field all too much. Sacks allowed per game, 2.5 for San Diego State. That's far too many times you're allowing the defense to get to your quarterback. That is 86th nationally. Passes had intercepted, a push for both. 6 for San Diego State, 7 for Ohio. But I do believe Ohio throws the ball a little bit more, so more passes intercepted is kind of to be expected. But Ohio does want to protect their quarterback and only allowing 1.5 sacks per game. That is 31st nationally. Moving forward to the rushing splits. San Diego State does an excellent job at stopping the run, but not great at running itself. At only 162.4 yards per game for the Aztecs, that's 74th nationally. But only allowing less than 100 yards, in fact, 94.5 yards per game on average. That is 4th nationally, quite dominant, especially for a Mountain West team in a conference where a lot of teams like to run the ball, like Air Force, for example. For Ohio, they do an excellent job at running the football, but not great at stopping it. At 262.2 yards per game on average, that is 8th nationally for the Cats. But they do allow 135.8 yards per game. Not horrible at 35th nationally, but still cause for concern in a game where San Diego State, does like to run the ball more than they like to pass. But as you can see, they don't do a great job at doing either. For passing defense, this is where San Diego State starts to pull away from Ohio at allowing 61.28% completion percentage. Not great in its own right. That is 84th nationally, but still quite a bit better than Ohio's 63.27% completion percentage allowed. That is 102nd nationally. Cause for concern. For San Diego State and Ohio, the team's sacks are a push at 2 per game for San Diego State, 1.9 for Ohio. That is 68th and 79th ranked nationally, respectively. But San Diego State has only gotten 9 interceptions this year to Ohio's 15. Quite impressive for the Cats. For the Aztecs, cause for concern considering Ohio does throw the ball a little bit. Passing yards allowed per game for the Aztecs, 232.9 per game. That is 72nd nationally. Not great, but quite a bit better than Ohio's 263.8 yards allowed per game. That is 112th nationally. Quite bad, to say the least. Looking forward to the overall defensive efficiency, San Diego State is quite dominant except for the turnovers gained. At only 13 gained as 112th nationally. That causes your offense to have to climb a steep mountain most of the time. Whereas Ohio has gotten 30 turnovers this year. That is first nationally. That's giving your offense a shorter field. That can be important in a game where it can be close, such as this one I believe will be. But total defense, San Diego State at 327.4 yards given up per game. That is 20th nationally. Quite impressive compared to Ohio's 399.6 yards given up per game. That is 66th nationally. Not atrocious, but not great. Third downs allowed per game. Both teams are not great at getting off the field on third down on defense. For San Diego State, they have given up 40.7% third down conversions per game. That is 83rd nationally. But still quite a bit better than Ohio's 44.2% on third downs converted allowed per game. That is 108th nationally. But, like I said, the Cats do a good job of forcing turnovers. That can be crucial in a game that is definitely going to be close, such as this one. Offensive scoring, let's just be honest, San Diego State does not do a good job of scoring. They have scored on average 21.8 points per game, minus 0.7 points average scoring margin. That is 70th nationally. First quarter, San Diego State does not do a good job of scoring, and they don't do a good job of scoring in the fourth. In the first, 5.6 points scored per first quarter played, 75th that ranks nationally. In the fourth, even worse at 4.9 points scored per fourth. That is 109th nationally. For the Cats, on the flip side, quite impressive, quite dominant on all aspects, at scoring 41.5 points per game on average, at 15.3 plus average scoring margin. That is 13th nationally. Quite impressive for a MAC school especially. The Cats do score 10.8 points per first quarter played. That is 8th nationally. And do score 6.7 points per fourth quarter. That is 68th nationally. Not great, but not as bad as only scoring 4.9 for the Aztecs. Sorry, Aztec faithful, but it's just the truth. But look at the defense. San Diego State quite dominant, as their stat book has shown throughout this video. But Ohio, as has also been shown, not great on defense. San Diego State has only allowed 22.5 points per game on average. It's 26th nationally. If they could score, that would be quite impressive. But, as I already said, they still have a minus 7.7 points average margin. Sorry, I couldn't think for a second. Per first quarter played, San Diego State has given up 5.2 points. That is 41st nationally, not horrible. And they do an excellent job of shutting the door in the fourth quarter at only allowing 5.5 points per fourth quarter played. That is 26th nationally. For Ohio, not a great job on any aspect of the game defensively at allowing 26.2 points per game. That is 55th nationally. Not atrocious again, but not great. Now, first quarter scoring allowed per game. This is atrocious at 7.9 points. That's almost a touchdown and a 2-point conversion allowed per first quarter played. On average, for the Cats, that is 96 nationally. And in the fourth quarter, the Cats do allow teams to come back much too often in the fourth, at allowing 7.5 points per fourth quarter played. That is 86th nationally. Cause for concern. Self-imposed errors, a big one here. I do look at this quite a lot when it comes to making my picks in a close type of game like this. For the Aztecs, 7.42 penalties committed per game. That is 105th nationally. I've talked throughout the year. Penalties kill you. They can kill, stop. They can kill drives, kill momentum. Or they can allow momentum to continue and on drives to continue if you commit them on defense. 64 penalty yards per game for the Aztecs. And they've given up. Well, both teams have done an okay job at losing turnovers. For the most part, it's been a push. San Diego State has lost 16 turnovers this year. It's 35th nationally. The Cats have lost 17. That's 51st nationally. Based on my research, 17, 16 is pretty average. Most teams have given up that many turnovers, so you can't say it's awful. It's just the way it is nowadays. For the Bobcats, speaking of the Cats, they've only committed 5.33 penalties per game. Still not great, but still not as bad as 7.42. That is 37th nationally for the Cats, and they have had 54.33 penalty yards per game. Again, not great, but not as bad as 64. Looking at our picks now, Mom's pick. She has picked the San Diego State Aztecs. As for my pick, again, close game. I've used a couple of things to make my pick. Like I said, self-imposed errors. Ohio does hold the edge there. Just overall scoring, moving the ball, commit forcing turnovers, turnover margin, scoring margin, I have to go with the Bobcats 31-27. I do think the Aztecs have more talent. I think they are definitely much stronger on defense, but their offense is lacking. Their offense is suspect at best, and they don't force enough turnovers on defense. They're going to lose the field position battle, in my opinion. They're going to, if they get behind, how are they going to come back? Their offense is atrocious, the Aztecs I'm talking about. So I can't pick a team that's pretty good on defense, but awful on offense. I can't do it. I have to pick the Bobcats in this game. 31-27 in a close, highly contested game. Should be an excellent game tonight at, I believe it's 8 o'clock. So make sure you check out this game. It should be a good one. Whether you like the MAC or the Mountain West or not, this should be a good game. If you like college football, watch this game. It should be excellent. And again, thank you for watching. Thank you for viewing. Please like, subscribe if you like my content. Share it with your friends. Let them know. Get the word out. I do enjoy all of my viewers. I enjoy the comments. Please keep them coming. And if you did not like this video, please hit the thumbs down and let me know why. Maybe you think I'm stupid, I'm horrible, you don't like my voice. You're an Aztecs fan, you hate the Bobcats, you hate the MAC. Let me know in the comments why I'm wrong. And again, as I said, if you would like to see all of my picks and my mother's picks, please check out the links in the description below. I have linked the pages to our picks on ESPN's Capital One College Bowl Mania. And if you'd like to link yours, please link in the comments below. I'd love to see your picks as well. I think this could be a very fun-filled affair. And I do plan on doing more videos. Hopefully I can do the remaining 24. I'd like to, because I have had a lot of fun during the research on these games. So please join me for my next one. It should be a dandy. It will be USF and Marshall. Another interesting, close game in my opinion. Until next time, boys and girls.